Welcome back to the ClickerCast once again. Here we are covering season 2, episode 6 of HBO's The Last of Us. I'm once again joined by Shaka McPain and Ballistic Gaming. Hello.
What's up, everybody?
What's
Hello.
up, everybody? Yup.
What is up?
What is up? Yes. So, this is almost our final episode.
Penultimate.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
Next week is the last one already.
I
We'll have
can't
another
believe
2
it
years.
feels like it went a lot faster than last season. I don't like that.
Well, we also got 3 less episodes. Because season 1 was 10 episodes.
True.
This one is only
Also,
7.
time just moves faster when you get older.
Oof. Oop.
The existential dread podcast, baby.
What the fuck? I thought we were gonna say on the line of the the show. Not hey, let's
Is it
fucking go
not?
after
It's in
Ballistic because he's
themes.
the oldest bastard here. I don't know. Well, let's carry on.
So anyways, right, The Last of Us, episode 6. It was a throwback episode. And to open up the show, we got a really big throwback. When we were
Yeah.
sitting in Texas of 1983.
Yeah, I was interested to see like where they're going. Like they're in the opening, I'm like,
Yeah.
this doesn't look post-apocalyptic. Then they showed Austin, Texas. Probably like,
Yeah, in 83.
Mm.
Where we find Joel and Tommy getting busted for buying drugs.
selling. I think Tommy was
Oh,
selling.
they were selling.
I think Tommy was selling. Yeah.
I wrote busted for drugs. So
Yeah. Either way,
whatever it was,
yeah,
they were doing stuff with drugs.
not supposed to do shit.
So whatever, they got busted for drugs. And we meet Tommy and Joel's dad for the first time ever. We find out that he is a policeman.
Mhm.
And he is not very nice to his kids. And that is why Joel takes the fall for the drugs, so Tommy does not get hit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Kind of because again, we're going with the age thing at this point.
Yeah.
We're already fucking there.
Yep.
When I grew up, things were so there's a period of breaking generational things.
Right.
I got my ass whooped as a kid. My dad before it, did that, and it follows, and that's they lead and they kind of end it with like a very good story that Joel's dad tells him about his father,
Yeah.
what his grandfather, Joel's grandfather, technically did to his dad.
Yeah.
And it's just an interesting way to kind of get this dynamic going. I liked it as a little, like, I wasn't expecting that at all.
No,
definitely-
definitely not.
It definitely leads into the generational trauma that the story
Absolutely.
does weave. Like to do a little bit better than me when you should do more than a little bit better,
Yeah.
I think. But especially if you're beating your kids, maybe you should do a little bit
Yeah,
more.
maybe you
a little
should
bit
not
better.
do that.
And we
Yeah.
it's
But-
just sorry, just one
Yeah.
little.
Yeah.
And also, because I don't want to forget this, we also got a certain line that Joel's dad says that is an extremely important line
Yeah.
that gave it a backstory.
Yeah.
Oh, go on, Shotty.
It was
It was
the line was
No, the line wasn't the line was yeah. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
okay.
So
I missed that then.
I-
I'll think about it. I'll talk about it. Yeah.
I hope it's the one I have written down.
Yeah.
It should be.
I think it is, but
It's-
we're gonna find out.
It's not do a little better. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's what I was
okay.
that's what I was saying.
Okay.
Like before is that I'm just like, yeah, it's about generational trauma
Yeah.
and what you do to overcome that, especially from somebody who we see Joel here who is overprotected from the start.
Right.
Not even just necessarily overprotective, but just very protective. And like, I won't let you hurt him.
Right.
And that sort
Yeah.
of stuff. Like there's that is very early on. Also played by Tony Dalton, who is a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
I was saying to my
Phenomenal.
partner, I'm like, I would have been okay if he was Joel too, honestly, because I think that he could have fit that role.
Yeah.
I love Pedro. Pedro's great, but I'm like, I could also see that. So
Yeah.
just want to do that little shout out, Tony
A
Dalton.
little shout out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of going back to that is that we see Joel and his dad having this conversation where, you know, he is discussing, you know, what his dad did to him and so on and so forth. And Joel's like, well, why'd you do it to us then? Like, you know how it feels, blah, 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 blah.
It's all I knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Yes, it's all I knew. And then we get this line. When it's your turn, hope you do better than me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which we'll talk about that again.
Yeah.
In a little bit.
When I heard it in that moment, I'm like,
it's a very dad thing to say too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's not just like tied, I guess, necessarily to The Last of Us the franchise, but it definitely is like tied to fatherhood in general. Like everybody has that conversation if they've had the conversations with their if they're their parents. It's just like, oh, I'm just doing a little bit better than what my parents did,
my dad
or
did.
I'm trying to do a little bit better, you know. So
yeah. So we have that entire flashback sequence, which was pretty good. I really enjoyed it, honestly.
Yeah,
I think it was nice. It was nice, short, to the point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's a backstory, and you're getting a backstory for the line.
Yes, absolutely. And then we go into the intro sequence, where once again,
those dirty fuckers.
Joel is in the intro sequence.
Those dirty fuckers, man.
Kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, but it makes sense for the episode. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So once the intro credits roll, we are met with Joel in this bar with Seth, trading Legos for something.
Yep.
Which, hell yeah, Legos. I love Legos, you know?
Yay, Legos!
Yes, Legos! Which we later find out is for a birthday cake. Yes. But we're not quite there yet, so. We're not quite there yet.
Task already.
Yes, well, it's whatever. I made the notes. I can do what I want, bitch.
She's the host.
I'm the host. This is my show now.
Solid.
Yes. So he's trading Legos for a birthday cake. And then, you know, it doesn't happen out of thin air, of course. So Joel leaves, and he is going back to his house to restore this guitar. The guitar, in fact.
Just the little details. Like watching him actually because in the game it was never inferred that Joel built that guitar.
Yeah.
Which now we see it being made and restored by him.
Yep.
Makes that guitar so much more of a piece of Joel instead of just an instrument that he gave her.
Yeah, absolutely.
They talk about like in life, like they talk about like how craftsmanship takes part of your soul, you know, and that's kind of like the theming of their like, I made this for my daughter, you know, and really pushing for the fact that he finally can have a life with a child.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh. But dog.
I had a feeling. Wait, with the sandwich you're munching down on? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm a dog right
now. Yeah. So we get to see Joel working on this guitar. And then we were greeted with Tommy and Ellie coming in the door. And Ellie is on some wild painkillers. Which this is the start of the burn backstory.
Yeah.
Which we all know is a bite, of course.
Right.
And she got it when she was out tending to some kind of vegetable, I think. I don't remember what it was, but farming of some degree. And we see this very, very nice tender moment between Ellie and Joel, where she's like, "I'm sorry," and he's like, "It's okay, it's okay." It was another like baby girl moment almost.
Yeah. Well, he does say that,
Which,
"Oh, baby girl." He does. He does say it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like as impactful as.
Well, no, not
the previous, but same connotation. Absolutely.
First time. And it was like almost a drawback to. They still have this relationship because we're seeing a relationship that wasn't there episode 1 and 2.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So they're bringing you back to what their relationship was, and in this time frame, what happened? What is going on? What caused the strain between Ellie and Joel? Because the last sequence we see from Ellie and Joel, he's on the porch and she's walking by to the garage where she lives.
Yep.
And well, we'll kind of see where that goes at the end of this.
We're definitely gonna. Yeah.
I also love the dialogue here. The dialogue here feels like the most Ellie she's been through this season.
Yeah.
Because she's like, yeah, and skin was hanging off, and like really like just attitude of like, oh, gross.
Yeah.
You know, like that really felt like Ellie.
Kind of bringing back and revising the Ellie from season 1.
I agree. Yeah.
That's still like dirty innocence that she does have.
Yeah.
Because she's been through the ringer.
Yeah.
You know, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely.
But at this time, she's still a kid. She still has that child innocence per se, given the experiences that she's had. And you're seeing that here with these joking, very sweet, I'm sorry moment, you know, with Joel.
Yeah.
Being that father figure that she, as far as we know, we do know for a fact, never had.
Yeah.
Up to that point. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that kind of leads us right into Ellie's 15th birthday. When we get happy birthday, Eli.
So good.
it was really
sequence.
Good. Yes.
Oh, Seth.
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 But at least he makes a good cake.
He was army.
Can't spell, but he can make a good cake.
Right.
I love that moment in that kitchen with those two.
Yep.
I absolutely love it.
With a fistful of cake. He does.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah. That was cute.
I think that there was like a lot of approach to really make Ellie feel like part 1 Ellie.
Yeah, definitely.
And the other thing I wanted to broach on, I think we've hit it already, but the mention that Seth used to be a cop as well.
Yeah, okay.
I think like that, like the theming there, especially as somebody who is not taking the reins as Ellie's like motivator in the beginning, but like as somebody who is like, no, we need to kill these fuckers, you know, like kind of having that generational trauma and like and kind of like having Joel's dad be a cop and then also Seth be a cop in that way.
Yeah,
that's actually a good analysis on that.
And then really like I think it also like talks about, you know, like the process of being a cop and what that does to you in terms of you know, like beating it out of you, right? Like beating any sort of empathy in that way out of you, right? So
yeah, definitely. That's a good call, actually.
Yeah, that's actually a really good catch on that.
Yeah,
that went right over my head.
Yeah, like I was like, okay, yeah, they're both, but like, yeah, cool, whatever. But no, that generational trauma,
just the
that
culture,
makes a lot of sense.
The culture of it, right?
Yeah,
like it's
absolutely.
very reminiscent, so it makes more sense too of like the attitudes going into going to Seattle.
Yeah, definitely. So here we are, Ellie's 15th birthday. After she gets a fistful of cake, Joel presents her with the guitar.
Finally get it.
And we finally get that moment of future days.
Also, when he's making the guitar, is there any hotter moment besides the sex scene between Ellie and Dina? Like, oh man, he's just like carving that shit.
He's
like,
carving bone for that bitch, dude.
Bone, dude.
Bone.
Everyone had their Daddy Pascal moment in that sequence.
Sure.
He's Daddy right there. So.
Yeah.
Well, carrying on.
What can you say?
Yeah.
What can you say? Yes.
I just wanted to point it out. We had
enough
to say
swooning
something.
over Pedro Pascal, but yeah, that was good. Yep. Yes. So we get that Future D's moment, and I would imagine what you were looking for, Shotty.
Yes, I mean, I think my big problem, one big thing I'm going to say about this episode is I think it's incredible. I think it's far and away my favorite episode of the show.
Okay.
And I even said, like, in our chat, like, I'm like, Halle Gross should write more of these episodes.
Right.
I feel like she really gets the emotion of the entirety of the thing. But I think my biggest problem is like how it's all one episode and how I feel like this at the beginning works more in the way of getting us to feel that, especially like coming back from, at this point, what, 2 years after, season 1, reminding us why we love Joel,
right?
Reminding us and really setting us in this heartbreaking moment of like, he's finally got what he wanted. He's finally got the daughter. He's got, even though there's an apocalypse happening, like, he's really got the reins on his life.
Yeah.
And community on top of that. And then it makes the deaths way more tragic. So I think my biggest issue with this episode is that I think it would have done so much more if you place it like either every other episode or every episode, like you put a little bit of chunks in there. Okay. And I can kind of see it in my mind. Like, I was talking to my partner about how I could, how like I would edit it to be like, okay, I would put this here and I'd put this here and I'd put this here, because it makes everything hit more. If you already have Future Days, you're like, when she goes to try to start playing Future Days, it hurts more. Like, I feel like that would hurt more, and I think I still like how they did it here, in the way of like, she did have that moment and then we got it afterwards. But I think that it doesn't quite hit as hard as it could have for me.
Okay.
So that's really my major complaint about this episode. Other than that, I think like they did a phenomenal job with the emotion and like the best acting in the show. But anyways,
yeah, the acting was really good. Yeah. So we get Future Days, and then we are hit with a 1-year time skip to Ellie's 16th birthday.
My favorite sequence flashback
easy
in the entire fucking game.
Yeah. And before we even get into it, actually, in the BTS, they were saying that this scene was planned before the game even came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they did a good job integrating it into the show as well, because it was such a pivotal moment in the game. Yeah. Definitely.
I'm a fucking dinosaur.
And what is this scene? Let's get to that. So it's Ellie's 16th birthday, and we see Ellie and Joel walking somewhere. Most of us know where, but for those who don't know, they're just walking around, and we have this very, how do I want to say this? It's a fun talk between Joel and Ellie. Where they kind of
the poking dad conversations is what I'd call it. It's very much like, oh, you see, like you're like, what's going on? Like, there's not school necessarily, but what's going on at school, and stuff like that.
So we have that cute conversation, and then it hits kinda the birds and the bees, or the dicks and the vaginas, as Ellie blatantly says.
Oh, you're talking about dicks and vaginas. Oh.
Yeah. Yep. I thought that was really funny. That was really funny. And there's like speculation that Ellie and Jesse have a thing going on, and she's like, no, what the fuck? You know? Which, I mean, we all know why.
She already knows who she is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, she already figured that out with Riley.
Yeah, definitely.
So it was such a very funny, like the way she was just laughing in the background. Like, you think you know, but you are more clueless than you think, old man.
You straight man.
It was such a
you straighty,
like, daughter father moment in that instance.
Yeah.
Well,
you are just so oblivious. It's adorable.
and
yeah.
In the little dialogue, again, another Ellie moment of like, I promise I won't get pregnant if you let me go on patrols. Like, it's like, yeah, I won't get pregnant.
Somebody else might, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we have this whole little dialogue sequence, and I think it's very cute. And, we get to where Ellie's like, where are we going? What are we doing? Is it dinosaurs? You know, like, that whole thing. Incredible. I loved how they did that. And then we arrive to the museum, where there are, in fact, dinosaurs. Yes.
And again,
yes.
like in the acting moment of like, Ellie, get down from there, Ellie. Like, you know, it's just he had it so well.
I love they added a part of that scene that as a player playing through, you will completely bypass it. It is an optional sequence. That is something that does not happen naturally in the game. You have to just be like, oh, there's something there. I want to climb up it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you get that entire scene with Joel and Ellie. I love that they added that because that is such a unique moment in itself as well.
Absolutely.
I think I did miss that my first playthrough. And I remember like videos going around and being like, oh my God. Like,
but there's a dinosaur. I want to be on the dinosaur. Yeah.
Let me on the fucking dinosaur.
I want a fucking dinosaur. Yeah.
I love that moment.
Yeah, that was good.
And I think this scene hits a little bit more for me because this was the first flashback in the game that you got after Joel was killed.
Yeah.
This is the very first one.
Yeah.
And they brought you back to this moment. I remember playing it through. I think it was during stream, actually. It was one of the moments where I actually started tearing up during stream because it was such a sweet moment and Joel was back.
Yeah.
I was like, like that part hit me hard.
Yeah.
Especially my very first playthrough.
Oh, yeah.
The dog whining underneath me right now.
For that damn sandwich.
He wants this fucking sandwich. He ain't getting the sandwich.
Get a Sammy. Yeah, I think that, again, to that point, like, it goes to the point of, like, I like the way they kind of dish out the flashbacks in the game.
Yeah.
But I can't say anything bad about it because like the flashbacks are some of the best parts in the game.
Right.
Like this episode is so great because of that. But it's like you're putting all the candy in one episode, you know, sort of.
Yeah.
Thing.
Well, I think they had to with the show because. And I get your fact of like how you said before, it's very kind of in your face. And we've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to time constrictions and the more hyper realism they're going with this episode, and it's playing wonderfully how they're going more of a realistic, this makes sense why they're doing this. But they have such a short time frame. I think it has to be more in your face. I think it has to be kind of all at once.
I almost think you only do 6 episodes, but they're longer and have little bits of the flashbacks in them. You know, like I think you don't even necessarily do 7 episodes. You just break up the entirety of episode 6, and then add it in where it contextually needs to go. Because again, then it feels like the two halves, right? The Ellie story and the Abby story, what we're eventually going to get in season 3. You know, it feels like a real cutoff in that point, and it feels like a full circle, and it makes you really feel for Ellie, so that when you go into, and I guess I get that in the promotional sense, right? Like it's hard to promote an Abby focused season when you hate Abby. You go into it like expecting to hate Abby.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't have the context, but especially because they gave the context in the show, I'm like, I don't know exactly why they held the flashbacks back till here, but that's just a personal take.
I think it's because what we're going to be getting next episode.
I'm interested. That's the thing, is like I've been proven wrong.
I saw a teaser trailer for it.
Yeah, I'm curious.
And I'm kind of afraid of what I think might actually happen that episode.
Right. Yeah, I'm ready to be.
And I think that's why they did this whole little sequence.
Yeah.
It's the calm before the absolute fuckery of a storm that's going to
Yeah, you could say that.
And it's going to cut. Mark my words. I'm calling it now.
Here he goes again.
Calling it now. One episode
now.
Before the end of the season.
One episode because
I'm definitely not realistic.
I cannot predict the entire fucking season. But we all know the scene. We all know the moment. It's going to cut there after the sequence in the theater happens at the end, and two people are there.
Yeah,
I think we see that, which will introduce the semi-cast to season 3, and it cuts. Hard cuts.
Yep, I agree.
Okay.
I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to tease next season.
Yep.
Probably.
At the very end of this episode.
Probably.
I guarantee it.
I'm really interested to see what the production of season 3 is going to be like.
Yeah.
Because like with the timeline that they have, like are people going to care? Like, that's what's really interesting to me. But that's all more behind the scenes things. But
yeah. So back to season 2. So we have Ellie on this dinosaur. And she makes a note that she sees a museum over the horizon as she is on top of this T-Rex. So she gets down and they go there. And we get this incredible scene. Where Ellie gets to be an astronaut.
It's so good.
I think, oh my God, the whole leading up to it, at least in the game, because they draw it out a little bit more in the game, but they're giving you something to do.
Well, they can, so.
Yeah. It's gameplay.
And
yeah.
This is one of those scenes that if you didn't cry during, at least if you're seeing it for the first time and you didn't cry to it, check yourself. You're fucked up.
Go to therapy.
Goddamn.
Go to therapy.
Get yourself checked. Because if you didn't think that was such a heartwarming moment, to me, it's one of the most heartwarming moments in video games, period, across any game I personally have ever played. That is number one most emotional scenes. And I've played some really good games, i.e. God of War Ragnarok. What happens towards the end of that game?
The game about
this one took it as the most heartwarming scenes ever in video games.
Yeah.
And they did an excellent job.
Yeah, absolutely. And even I don't remember if it was Druckmann or Mason that said it, but this is the happiest moment we've ever seen Joel and Ellie.
It's pure ecstasy.
The happiest you'll ever see them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so they walk into this museum and they are greeted with that I'm just gonna call it a pod. Because it's not an entire spaceship, but it's a pod that goes up.
It's the landing pod. That's what it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Landing capsule.
So it's still a pod, whatever.
Did they say it's Apollo 11?
Apollo 11 landing module.
Yeah.
Apollo 11. There we go. And Ellie goes to get in it. And Joel's like, whoa. Can't do that unless you have a helmet on.
I was wondering if I picked the helmet. If they had the exact helmets in there, I was trying to figure that out.
If you pick the Canon helmet,
right?
Is that the one I picked?
So Ellie grabs a rock and smashes the glass to the helmet that she desires, and then she climbs into this landing pod. And then Joel follows her in. Without a helmet, by the way, but,
So irresponsible.
She gets them with the sequence, and Joel's just... like just floating,
he's just dead in space, yeah.
Hey, Ellie.
Oh my God.
Can you move, dog, so I could at least roll around a little bit?
Right. Aside from Joel suffocating in space, we have Ellie in this seat, and she gets to see all these buttons, and she just presses all of them, because what else are you gonna do?
Well, yeah.
Right? Obviously. And then, you know, Joel kind of looks over and hands her this tape.
So good.
Yes. Which is actual, like...
This is an actual sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an actual sequence.
Yeah.
Launch.
And it was incredible, in fact.
I think they say, I do remember, maybe I did watch the behind the scenes. I do remember them saying that they had to like have it but in like hoists and to like make it shake and like really feel that like real sequence. And it really did feel like, oh my God, like it's kind of happening.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
I like that they
like they did a little bit more than in the game, which is interesting because like live action production is a little bit harder.
Yeah, the fact that they
definitely.
incorporated that into the show because you don't have to.
Yeah,
that's a completely optional thing because they don't. It's supposed to be live based. It's not a cartoon video game.
Yeah,
but they still added it because it's such a sweet like insight to Ellie's mind.
Yeah.
Because she is obsessed with space, and I just found out with the podcast the reason why Joel liked music and Ellie was infatuated with space is because we already know Ashley Johnson loves space.
Yep.
And Troy Baker is a musician. He is a musician. So
that is a really nice detail.
I love that little detail in there. So, but
yeah, that's a good touch.
I got teary during this whole sequence. I did.
Yeah. It was really good. It was really good.
And my partner pointed it out that like the little tear that Joel gets, like just such a great touch, such a great like a minor thing. Rather either if
that wasn't in the script either.
Yeah, I was like rather either if they made that happen or that Pedro was made that happen, like it worked.
And that was like his redemption moment, you know, like he never got to have this with his own kid.
Yeah,
you know, like this is his time to do the best he can do.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing it.
And if you think about like if again behind the scenes, just real quick little snippet for that is from the looks of it, this was the very last scene they shot with Joel with Pedro Pascal.
The last of
the
Pedro.
Way that looked, this was the absolute last scene they shot. And he's saying goodbye to everybody. So who knows, that scene that you see in the capsule could have been the very last scene that they shot, and that was his real emotion there.
Yeah.
Which makes it that much more impactful. He's saying goodbye for the last time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're not seeing him again after this episode. He's gone.
That sucks.
Yeah.
We're not seeing any more of him.
Yeah.
No.
Unless he makes some kind of fucking appearance in season 3, which I doubt because it wouldn't make sense. But
they could.
I mean, they could. They could. I don't know how they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Tangent's over.
Anyways.
That's a quick one.
So, Ellie's up in space, and they have this whole moment, and it is a wonderful thing. And then we are once again greeted with a 1-year time skip.
Was it 1 or 2?
It was 1.
This one was 1, and then it goes 2.
Yes.
And then it goes 2. Yeah.
Yeah, my notes.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to think. I don't have notes. I'm trying to remember this.
Yeah.
So what comes after 60?
So it's Ellie's 17th birthday. And she gets in trouble.
A little frisky.
A
little freaky.
Yes. Because first of all, she gets caught getting a tattoo.
That's not all she get.
Oh, I didn't get there yet. But he opens the door and she is getting his tattoo. And he's like, what the hell? You know? And Joel gets upset when he realizes that it's not only just a tattoo, but it is also drugs. And
a little weed.
And once again, hot lesbian sex.
She Dina wasn't her first.
Dina was not her first. No.
She was experienced.
Yeah.
Listen. If you're looking at episode 4 and think that she is
that's her first time.
Yeah, I don't think so.
She was wrist deep in there, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah.
my show.
I love it.
All right. Hi, Booper. Yes, wrist deep is the thing.
Anyway, so they have this kind of tense 17th birthday sequence.
Oh yeah.
Where he just kind of leaves the cake with her and then goes away. And then later that evening, Ellie is trying to move her mattress to the garage. And Joel is like, no, there's no water, there's no nothing in that garage, you can't live out there. And he offers to fix it up for her because it would be good for them to have their own space.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What I also want to say is something that Joel says in this is like when he is reacting to everything that's happening, he says like, "Oh, you're doing all the teenager shit at the
same time."
At the same time,
Yep.
Because it's like
can't deal with it.
Right. He's lived with the fact of like, oh, all this stuff that they say that rebellious teenagers do, they don't actually do it until she's 17, and then that is all happening at once. And he has to have the wake up call of like, oh, she's literally a teenager.
Well, they also had this. Oh,
I
sorry,
just want to say, no, you're good. I just want to end with I think it plays well with when they move the mattress, because then it's almost like he takes a breath and it's like, you are a teenager, you are in your late teens, and you want your independence. So like I think like that dialogue, again, the dialogue in this episode I think is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, it's also with the conversation they had like between, the finding out and then the mattress. There's this dialogue in between that they have to where Joel's, this is my house, and Ellie stands back instantly. Right. This is not your house. Yep. You don't own anything.
Yep.
And she is implying also there, you don't own me. I am not yours.
Right.
I am not your daughter. This is kind of like that little push of her gaining that little bit of independence that she has, because she is not his.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you were given this.
Yeah.
It was a very like powerful, like her kind of like that first step back.
Yeah.
From Joel. So
because
she's also, I think, at the time starting to get a little curious. I think this is when she starts kind of diving into her purpose, because there's this whole symbolism around the moth
and purpose.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to get to that here in a minute. So
yeah, I mean, it's great because that was the next thing in my notes, is that Joel has this meeting with Gale about what the symbolism of a moth means. And of course, Gale is like, well, death.
And not only that, but the pickup of death, if you believe in that sort of thing.
Right.
Like, that's why I love Gale as the addition in this show. Yeah. Because you only see that one point where Ellie interacts with Gale, and Gale has that same attitude that Ellie has, and then she like Joel is paying her in pot, she is 100% this almost like ant-like figure who is just like, like, I'm here to talk to Joel about his things. Like you could tell they kind of have some sort of relationship there. So I think when a little later on, when we get to the moments with Ellie and Gale, I think that it hits on a very personal level.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I guess that's kind of it for that scene, to be honest.
Yeah, not much happened there.
Not much happened there.
It was more of just like the symbolism of death, and what I was kind of alluding to leading up to this was she's starting to question everything that Joel has said to her following Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And I think this was the start to it, the interest in death and life, and the symbolism that she's, with the moth getting that tattooed on her permanently.
Yeah.
So I think this is the beginning of that questioning that kind of leads up to our next little time jump here in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. So after this, we have a 2-year time skip.
19-year-old Ellie.
19 years old.
So present time, damn near.
Yeah. So we kind of see Ellie in the garage, and she has a list of questions prepared to ask Joel. And she doesn't really know how to ask them.
Yeah.
And then here comes Joel at her door, ready to take her on patrol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is because she was already in the garage at this point, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
She was already moved in.
This is her moved in 2 years.
This is her moved in into the
2 years
garage
after.
2 years later. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so she's had a lot of time to think, a lot of time to space. She's been preparing.
And that's why I think that sequence in 2 years ago was when she started.
Yeah.
Because they jumped into it damn near like, hey, she's got questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
Absolutely.
And I love the little scene of her developing the questions because it's like you can tell she's already wanting to ask.
Yeah.
And then
she doesn't know how.
Finding out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep, those are hard questions right there.
Mm-hmm.
Which we're gonna get a whole lot of that right about now.
The
so
face with that.
yes.
But-
So
Go ahead. Sorry,
Okay.
I'd just say like at the end of this, I have thoughts of my own that I kind of love how they did this.
at the end, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, Joel shows up at her door, being the garage, and she gets to go out on her first patrol. And on this patrol,
This was her birthday present.
it was her birthday present. Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and of course they go on the easy route because it's her first one. You know, they want to be careful, whatever.
It's the bunny slopes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it certainly
Yeah,
is.
The
Yes,
bunny slopes.
yes. And then they get this call, or I guess Joel gets this call about something else that has happened, where they stumble across Eugene.
Joey Pants. Joey Pantaleone. Matrix fame.
Oh,
Babies
yeah.
think Babies Day Out fame as well.
Oh God.
So yeah, they find Eugene out in the forest, and he's bit, but he has time. He's not dead yet.
Yep.
And Eugene makes this plea to Joel to take him back to Jackson so he can say goodbye to Gale.
Mm-hmm.
And Ellie's all for it. Joel is not. You know, she has him do the hand test, you know, out like this. He's not shaking. He's fine.
Yeah.
And so Joel is convinced and lets him start walking back to Jackson.
Swear to me.
Mm-hmm.
Swear to me. Yes.
But she doesn't. But that was the implied statement because she doesn't say that.
Yeah.
Promise me.
Promise me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Promise me.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
These lines become extremely important here.
Yes. And he says, I will.
Mm-hmm.
I
No,
promise.
he says, I promise.
I promise.
Promise.
He
Yeah.
says the exact same
And
Yeah.
word.
the look
Yeah.
on Ellie's
Mhm.
face
That she knows. She knows.
because it was the swear to me.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll
And
get to
the,
that.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Probably with the other bits later on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So
My brain's ahead now.
yes, yeah, you're ahead. So Ellie, she goes off. And it is just Eugene and Joel. Yeah.
Joey Panel is such a goddamn good
Great actor. Underrated. Ignorance is bliss, dog.
Ugh.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
He that's like that made that scene so
Oh.
impactful
It was great. Absolutely. Yeah.
because he's begging. He knows the rules and he's begging.
Yep.
Yeah.
Begging to go see Gale
And he
one
said a
last time.
certain line too that like, oh,
And
we'll get to that here because
Yeah.
you're almost at that point. So I'm gonna stop talking.
Yep.
I'm getting
So
out of
you said
myself
you were
again.
gonna be quiet, whatever.
I'm
Liar.
sorry. I'm lying.
So yes, we have this spot where Joel takes Eugene. And the only thing that Eugene wants is to see Gale one last time. That is his dying wish.
Yeah.
To go see Gale.
Oh.
And Joel says, I don't remember the exact words, but it was something along the lines of, if you love someone, you can always see them.
You can always see their face.
Always see their
You
face.
always see their face. Yep.
Exactly what he says.
Yep. And kills him. Pretty much.
I love how unceremonious it is too.
Yeah.
Like with the silence, it's just the birds.
It's just the birds.
That's the only reason we
that
know.
Was
Which again goes
really
to the
good.
symbolism of the like it being another counter to the fact of like, oh, you don't ever see like
you don't see it happen.
Oh yeah, like it just yeah.
It was good.
I was going
really
there,
good.
But,
yeah.
And there was like this really like genuine moment almost like in between all that where Joel asks, is there any last words that you have for Gale
to pass along? Yep.
To pass along, and I'll pass them along. And Eugene blows up almost in a childlike manner.
Yeah.
As he's begging for his life, he's like, my last words for her, I want her last words for me.
For me.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like that hits so hard.
Yeah.
Like just as simple, I don't care about what I have to say to her. I want to hear what she has to say for me in my last moments.
Yep.
Yeah.
She already knows what I'm going to say to her. I want to know what she's going to say to me.
Yeah.
In this moment.
Yep.
And
I also think it's really imperative the fact that this is almost the opposite decision from the Salt Lake decision, you know, because it is a decision between emotion and love and logistics.
Yeah.
I think that's why they added this. Why they changed this up.
Truly. Yeah.
And it is because this is equivalent to the hospital scene in the
and he makes the logical decision. Because like, let's be real, like one, even if you make it there, like you make it there and he could end up killing everybody.
Yeah.
It is just a risk.
He's bitten.
And two, if he does make it there and everything's fine, everyone's gonna ask for that. Everyone's gonna ask for the point of like, well, I want to see my loved one. I want them to come back. There's still time, even if there's not. You know, so it's like logistically, he does have to kill Eugene. He does have to follow the rules in that point.
Yeah.
But it's like with Ellie's taking the emotional point there too, and it's just like, come on, like, and that's where I was too. Like I remember like just like in the scene, I'm like, come on, don't kill him, just let him go see Gale. Like, and like it's just thinking about it for like 2 more seconds. It's like, it is what has to happen.
Yeah.
And the explanatory that we get for why Gale does not like Joel.
Yeah,
and
it makes a lot of sense.
First. Not at first, though.
Yeah, go to the scene.
Yes. So Joel kills Eugene, despite everything. Done right there. And so we have this scene where they are taking him back to Jackson in a body bag.
Dragged behind the horses.
Perhaps like we've seen once before.
Yep.
Maybe.
Sometimes.
And so they get back to Jackson. And the first thing Joel does is lie to Gale. That he was already gone. It was too late. You know, send his regards, whatever bullshit that Joel can make up in that moment.
He died brave. You know, he said he loved you. Making him seem like the man that, you know, Gale knows, not this, you know, coward. I mean, technically, in the better sense of the words. I mean, but everybody, I think, does turn to that in death. I mean, they want what they want. They know they're done.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think it's just like a very real way of putting this sequence.
Well, and like I think I was looking back in the first episode because I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense because I feel like Gale said something to the fact that like she saw it happen, but she specifically says, "I'm not mad at you because you killed him. I'm mad of you because of how you did it." And it's the lie. It's the lie of like, he really was sorry. You know, like. Again, it goes to the love of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So Joel lies outright, you know, that's kind of what Joel does best. And Ellie doesn't let that happen.
Yeah.
The look on her face.
She is pissed. She's betrayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was a promise.
Because she figured out the lie
Yep.
that was told to her.
Yep.
I
Absolutely.
love that.
4 years prior, 5 years prior at that point.
5 years prior at that
yeah.
point.
Yeah, 5 years prior to that point.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just like, again, this lie, like they, people talk about the fact of like little white lies or like lies that help people. There's just as many lies that are just like, it's better off not to know, because then like you have this idea, like especially for the Eugene death, it's like you have this idea that Eugene went out and he really loved you and blah blah blah, and that's sometimes what you need to hear. And he's choosing the lie. It's still the same thing, but it's choosing the lie that is most receptive to love. And he's choosing that, and for that to be the thing that gets Ellie mad at him is another, I think, juxtaposed. Like he kind of did the right thing in the way of like he loved you very much, and he wanted he didn't want anything to get infected or anything, and Ellie has this reaction because of his previous lie, which not the noble thing to do. It was the selfish thing to do. So you have a selfless moment for Joel, this final selfless moment for Joel, and juxtaposed to a selfish moment that he told years ago. So I think that just the fact that that's how Ellie finds out, I think, is the first time in the season where I'm like, that's actually, I think, better than the game. I think that it's the little hint at it rather than the, oh my God, like, and that's why,
Yeah, definitely.
I think that I love that change so much.
Yeah. So yeah, Ellie tells Gale the truth, just point blank.
Yep.
That's something that she deserves to know. Was he gonna die anyways? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
They could have had time together, and that's what Ellie wanted to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the you swore.
It is.
Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Because they just pan in on her face and she goes in that anger.
You swore.
Yeah.
You swore.
What a great switcheroo, too, to be like, oh, we all know that moment. And then it's like, oh, we don't,
Yep.
Well, I like how because they did this. This is taking place in the same time frame in the game. You as Ellie go back to that hospital.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you figure out that Joel lied.
Right.
I like how they did it because it doesn't make sense for one girl that is 19 to go to a hospital in another state, however far away it is from Jackson. And the way they did it this time, it like more of the I had these questions.
Mm-hmm.
She was looking for the truth of Joel, and she caught him in a lie.
Yep.
The same lie, the same way.
Yeah.
And this is what tips her off to, was everything you told me the truth?
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
And they did say this in the behind the scenes as well, that the you swore is directly from that scene.
Yep.
At Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a great connection. Because it's exactly the same connotation. Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Did because it very well.
They split that dialogue scene between two different points in our flashback sequence in the show. It all happens in Salt Lake City, but they are splitting up the same exact conversation in two different areas.
Yep.
So they changed that up a little bit too.
Yeah.
Well, not a little bit, actually, a lot of it.
But I think it works.
It did. It absolutely did. I think this was a little bit more impactful in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have this scene, and then we have a 9-month time skip to New Year's Day. New Year's Eve, whatever it is. New Year's. Mm-hmm. It's New Year's.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we get Joel's perspective on what happens that day.
Well, because was there something leading up to that? Or did they just cut to Joel right there in the?
Yeah, I think it was just a 9-month cut, and it was there.
Just a 9-month cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do like pan outside of the venue and then they go in, but that's literally it.
Okay.
And Joel is talking to Tommy.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's not about a lot, it's basically, see you next year, which is in like 5 minutes, so it doesn't really matter, funny.
Yeah.
It's the best
Uncle
joke
Grumpy.
every year. Uncle Grumpy. Uncle Grumpy. Yep.
So good.
Yep. That was cute. That is cute, yeah. But we kind of have that little sequence there, and Tommy walks off, and is he talking to Maria also at that point?
Yeah. Maria's there, but I don't know if he was actively talking to her, but she was definitely there.
He does say a couple words to Maria, and she's like, "Thank you."
Right.
Oh, he probably did something for them or some shit like that.
I just
something to that degree. But then we get the scene where Seth is, calling Ellie and Dina dykes,
Yep.
and that's how that plays out.
Right.
And in that moment, I guess for people that don't really know, it's like, oh, that's why she's so upset.
Yep.
Like, I can handle myself. You're a liar.
Right.
And it kind of comes full circle to that moment.
Yeah, the what is wrong with you, the way it sounded.
Yeah.
And again, yes, like you said, I could handle myself. I don't need you.
Yep.
You have shown me that you are not trustworthy at this point.
Yeah.
And
why lied to me?
Why I also love the fact that it's a shove and not a just like a full push down rather than just because it leads to the violence.
Now.
Yep.
I'm ready to protect you violently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goes back to the violent. The way they know how to protect is within violence.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how he protects. That's how Ellie also protects.
Yes.
And violence.
Yeah.
Parallels.
Yeah. So we have that whole scene. And then it comes back to Joel's house.
Mm-hmm.
Where he is sitting on the porch. And Ellie is coming home. And ignores him to go into the garage.
Yeah.
Which
and I thought like, oh, we already saw that. Like, what the fuck's the point?
Yes.
And,
but Ellie comes back out. And she talks to him about everything she wants to know about Salt Lake City.
Yep.
And she learns everything in this incredibly heartfelt scene between Bella and Pedro. Yeah. Not even Joel and Ellie, but Bella and Pedro. That was phenomenal acting between the two of them.
And we get the interspliced, like, from the game. I believe this is what happens is that Joel says something to the effect of like, Dina would be lucky to have you.
Yep.
Like, and like that, like, conversation on top of the fact of like,
yes,
okay, let's really put this here. And I think Ballistic, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the game, doesn't she say something like to the effect of, I am not ready to forgive you. I don't know if I can ever forgive you, but I want to try.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's at that moment without ever actually saying anything.
Yeah. So let's kind of break that down, actually, because this whole conversation is just her getting confirmation on everything that she thinks she already knows.
Right.
The Fireflies, could they have made a cure? Yes.
And it's definitive, too. That's the other thing. It's
yes.
In the way of, like, the Fireflies are like, oh, we probably could have. Like, he just bites the bullet. It's like, we're assuming that, they probably could have.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, like, every question that she has was a definitive answer,
Yeah, it's there.
And he did not lie this time.
Yeah, no. He chooses, even though he's not necessarily lying about the cure, if he would have said no, like, he's choosing the fact that the scenario, it probably was.
Yeah.
Just so that he is not stripped of any guilt.
Yeah,
like that
absolutely.
That there's the good, like, he says, even though if there's not a good chance, he says that there was, just because he took that away. If he knows that either way, he took that away from her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's something that you blatantly find out because, it's like the cure would have killed you.
Right.
And she's like, then that's what it was supposed to be. My life would have fucking mattered.
Mattered.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what
would have
she
fucking
wanted.
mattered.
That's what she wanted.
She wanted everything to make sense.
Yeah.
Because she has essentially at this point survivor's guilt. Why me?
Yeah.
Riley died. Why me? Why am I still here? Why am I still alive? You know, and it was kind of the same thing with like in the first game. And again, the survivor skill. Someone dies trying to protect her once again.
Yep.
And she's just wondering why. Why did this have to happen to me?
Yeah.
My life right now doesn't matter. What I have doesn't matter. It doesn't help anybody. That's all I wanted to do was to help somebody. I'm not a normal person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Incredible scene, honestly. They both did incredible work.
It's so hard to like encapsulate it in words like that, you know? Like that's one thing you have to see it to like get the full impact of it.
And also the because I love you part too.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Something you wouldn't. Then you're probably getting to that, aren't you? All right. I'm ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So after Ellie learns the truth, he says he does it because he loves her.
And he'll do it again.
In a way that she can't ever understand.
Mm-hmm.
And if she ever gets in that situation, I hope you do better than me.
I hope you do a little better than me.
It resurfaces from the beginning of the episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's admitting his flaws at this point.
Absolutely.
Well, he's taking responsibility.
Absolutely.
Well, what does he say? If I had another chance, a second opportunity in this exact same moment, I would do it again.
All over again. Yep.
He has no regrets.
Right.
Yep.
And that part, but why?
Yeah.
Because you're selfish. No, because I love you in a way you cannot understand right now.
Right.
And it hits so much more.
It hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely it hit. So we go through that, and then Ellie says, I don't think I can forgive you for this, but I'd like to try.
I'd like to try.
And we know where that goes the very next day.
Next day.
That's that's the last conversation they have too.
Yeah. And then we see Ellie returning to the theater in Seattle. Roll credits.
And it's raining.
That's it.
We know with this rainy scene what fucking happens.
Yeah.
I like the look
of this next episode.
The pan up.
Yeah.
It's kind of in the first season they have the buildings, the pan up on the buildings after episode 2.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very indicative of that. So
great. Yeah, and this is why
I
like just the way I'm thinking because they're following time sequence with Ellie to the T right now.
Yeah.
And there's something that we all know that happens in that fucking theater.
Yes.
Right.
And none of us really care for, but
they all watch the movie. They put on Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and then they just forget about the revenge plot.
Yeah.
And then they
go.
And have a.
And that's it.
Yeah,
Happy ending.
The rain doesn't symbolize anything.
Actually, Nora comes back too.
All have the time.
Yeah, everyone's good.
This is a dream. We're still back in
Joel's alive. Everything is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we're great.
Yeah.
20th birthday. Here we go.
The clickers are just like, you know what? I'm gonna learn to coexist.
Yeah. So that is the episode. And I think overall it was pretty well perceived.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, anything that you think that we missed that you want to talk on, anything that you saw in the episode that you want to discuss?
I do have some. I do have something.
Okay.
And it's a little bit nitpicky, as I am.
Okay.
But it is really funny, and it's not. I don't mean this seriously, but also, so I was listening to Easy Allies' spoiler cast of this episode just to like see other people's thoughts, and they pointed out something that's really interesting about well, if you live in a world. If Joel lives in a world where he knows immunity exists, why would you ever shoot anybody before they've fully turned? You know what I mean? What if Ellie's not the only person who is immune? You know?
Okay. Okay,
Like,
that is
that
actually
is,
interesting. Yeah.
You know, obviously only a few people know this, but like if you live in a world where immunity exists, you're like, well, the chances could be that there are more people who are immune, you know? So just like a little
that is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Little poll.
But that would have had to happen like right at the beginning of everything.
What do you
because
mean?
because everybody now once you get bit, you're dead. They shoot you. There is no questions.
But with Ellie, it's not.
Because that was found kind of a little bit earlier in that time along different circumstances.
But would you not think that also there is a capability of that happening now? Like what changes now comparatively to then?
Right.
You know, when...
circumstantially who finds you and what kind of community, but everyone that we've kind of run across is more trigger happy per se than not in the retrospect.
But that's also because we don't like the wider community does not know that Ellie is the immune.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what I mean. Is like
because if anyone else was involved and Ellie got bit, they'd shoot her in the face.
Right.
Point blank. Right. Like there would not be a question about it.
The one who shoots Eugene in the face though is Joel, who knows that there is immunity like in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but that's what I'm saying though. You don't get that chance anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Would have had been kind of towards the beginning. Ellie is an outlier. She got lucky.
Right, but I'm saying like, what if Eugene had also been an outlier? Like, what if there's just as much of a chance as Eugene being an outlier as there is Ellie? And you know, like, what's the right combination? Maybe he had his umbilical cord cut when his mom was, you know, dying or whatever. You know, like, there's just like to that mindset. You're like, oh well, like. We better make sure that if more people are immune, because like Eugene doesn't probably have as much time left as Ellie did, you know. Like maybe what if Eugene was, you know, immune, and then we're like, okay, so we can't. I guess also we've already killed the person in the world who can create a cure, so like there's also that, I guess.
Yeah.
Just an interesting little.
It is interesting. I will. Yeah.
Bit.
Any comments, Ballistic?
I think we went over everything pretty well.
Okay.
I think I kind of interrupted.
Try to be thorough. Look here, I didn't show my notes this episode yet.
Oh yeah, notes.
Notes. I have a lot. Okay, look. Here's notes, the first one. First one, 3 pages of notes for season 6. Episode 6. Yeah. Yeah. That's so nice.
Well, yeah, we went through everything. I mean, I interrupted when I kind of found my talking points. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all like the in between shit, all the conversations from the in betweens.
Which is what we want. So like that's okay.
We could.
Man, we're finishing kind of early.
What's the time right now? What's the time say?
1:08.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah. We are at least 15 minutes above schedule. So like that's incredible.
I know, right? All right, let's elongate this. All right.
Okay. All right. So let's go on a tangent about fucking nothing.
You see that Ellie right there?
Yeah.
So what if Seinfeld
Shut up.
It'd be Ahmed.
Oh my god. Okay. So I don't remember who I went to first last week. But let's do our rankings. Apparently Ballistic went first. So Shotty, you're up. What are your thoughts, feelings, and where are you placing the episode?
This is far and away my favorite episode. I love the way that they've added to the story. This is, I said in our chat, this is the closest I've come to having an episode that was on the level of season 1. It's still not like barring next episode being like incredible, like and really adding to the overall of it. I think this is still an A tier for me. But first A tier. And the S tier is reserved for like Bill and Frank episodes, which I think are transcendent television episodes outside of the series. I don't think this is necessarily transcendent outside of the series. I think there's a lot of great moments, but it's a lot because you know the characters.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, first A tier from Shotty. Love to see it.
All right.
Ballistic, where are you at?
Oh, what did I rate last episode? A 9.
9-3.
9-3.
You said you were being specific with it.
I am. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'll say this one's more about an 8.7.
Okay.
Great episode.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
It had all my favorite moments in there, but this was in all definition of sense a calm down episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They did great with it. They put in all my favorite little bits in there, all the little throwbacks that I love.
Yeah.
But again, I mentioned it made sense. It makes sense in this series why they did the Eugene storyline thing. I get it, but I still love in the game. This is my only reference, actually. I think I've considered a rating with the game being my reference on this season. I like her going to the hospital better. Her finding out that Joel lied that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because there they explain her. If you read and listen to the tapes, they explain the sickness. They explain what everything is doing.
Right.
And I don't think we ever got that.
Yep.
So that's why it's a little lower for me, because I like the way they did it in the game better, even though doing it this way makes more sense.
Yeah.
As a almost hyper realistic version of the game. Yeah. But I like the game version better.
Okay.
All the other cutscenes though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the key moment is where I'm basing mine off, is because that was the key moment of her finding out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely makes sense. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Where do I sit with
Artie,
this one?
how about you?
So me.
How about you?
Me, my turn. I thought it was a really good episode, honestly. I think it's definitely in my top of the season for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Probably top 5 of the entire series.
Ooh, a series ranking.
Yeah. I had another series ranking earlier, but whenever
4.
it was. I don't know.
4.
4, sure. Yeah. Uh-huh. Of course, yeah.
Lesbian sex.
Yeah. Hot lesbian gay sex, yes. Woo! My favorite. Yeah, no, I thought it was a really good episode, honestly. I like those really tender moments between Joel and Ellie that we don't really get to see.
Yeah.
You know, I like that it was all like, oh, it's Ellie's birthday. This is a day to be celebrated. Yeah. I'm celebrating her.
And it gradually got worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
As the years went on.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was nice to watch. I think I retained a lot of the story. Which with some other episodes I just have not. So I'm really glad that I had that experience with this one. Because it was heartfelt and it did mean something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna be my highest ranking of anything, but I would give it a 9, I think. I thought it was really good.
Okay.
I enjoyed it, yeah.
Anything you would have changed with this episode at all, or you like it kind of as is?
No, I kind of like how it was, yeah.
Okay.
I think we may have lost Shotty. So,
Oh no.
So, I think it's a good time to wrap that up.
Yeah.
No,
that's not at the end.
Our poor gamer.
Oh no.
Yep, there he goes.
There he goes.
Okay, well, now all my stuff is in the way. All right, well, thank you for watching. Let me hide this for a second. There we go. You can see us. Thanks for watching this episode of the Clickercast. Ballistic and Shotty, even though not here, thank you for joining me as always. And if you made it this far in the episode, thank you for watching. I know we yap a lot. This is still the shortest episode of this season for us.
So if you made it this far, I mean, again, comment, subscribe.
You've done it. You have done it. You are amazing.
Break down any more TV shows that we have not ever watched.
Oh,
if you want this to be a
we're gonna make a new podcast. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week for our final episode of Season 2 of the Clickercast.
I can't believe it's the end.
It's the end. Bye!
The end.